not just ash on your clothing when you take it off. It's our loved ones.
Well, Ohio is now joining in on the rescue and recovery efforts in Maui after wildfires left dozens dead across the island.
Members of Ohio Task Force 1 are now deploying to the Aloha State to help with the search. Gwyneth Falloon spoke with the team, joins us now live. So Gwen, who all is going?
Well, Lisa, the team made their announcement of their activation on Facebook earlier today. They're going to be joining a number of other states' task force, but they're sending 3 human detection dogs as well as their handlers over to Hawaii. Those dogs, they're certified and trained to alert and detect human remains.
I got the activation order for 3 o'clock this afternoon for us to send 3 of our task force's human remains detection canine personnel, HRD canines, to Hawaii.
So Gwen, we know that they're going to be leaving tomorrow morning, but do we know when they're going to be coming back?
We don't know when they're coming back. The team's manager the program manager, tells me that they're going to stay as long as they're needed. That could be several days or several weeks, but like you said, they're supposed to leave sometime tomorrow by the early afternoon at the very latest. Back to you.
Gwen, thank you. Now, the death toll in Hawaii's wildfires has now grown to at least 101. We found that out just about an hour ago, and teams are still looking for remains on the charred grounds. Much of the historic town of Lahaina needs to be rebuilt. Maui County estimates more than 80% of Lahaina's buildings were damaged or destroyed. Roughly 4,500 local residents are now homeless. Hawaii's governor says he wants locals to be involved in the rebuild as much as possible.
We will use local people to the greatest extent we can. I'm already contemplating a works project for local people exclusively, so that once we do rebuild, in whatever form that is for local people, thank you again, it's done by local people.
Now, Lahaina was once the capital of the former Hawaii Kingdom. It's a popular tourist destination.
So our chapter of the American Red Cross is stepping in to help as well. Mamie Ba spoke with them earlier today about the members there on the ground.
You have 250 American Red Cross members who have boots on the ground at this time. At least half a dozen are from right here, the Miami Valley. They've been there just a couple of days, providing shelter, food, clean water, and mental health resources to those on the island of Maui. 11 Red Cross shelters have been set up. You have more than 3,600 total overnight stays already.
So right now, it's just we're in the very basic stages of it, helping people with those life essentials, those small things that we all take for granted every day, but have become immensely difficult given the conditions that those people are living in now.
The current members will be there for 2 weeks, and then you'll have more people there as well. It's unclear just how many more people the American Red Cross will be sending to assist in this disaster. Back to you.
All right, let's talk weather. It was a much cooler day as many kids went back to school. It reminds you of fall, of course. That's not going to last, it doesn't sound like.
No, not at all. Next week, more like summer. In fact, warmer than our normal highs in summer is what we're going to be looking at. But for right now, we'll enjoy some nice fall-like weather. Rest of the week's actually looking pretty nice. So we have 60s currently, 66 in Dayton, 64 in Springfield, 63 in Urbana. It's been in the 60s pretty much all day. We topped out in Dayton at 71, but for the most part, it's just been in the 60s. We've seen clouds around, some showers, a little bit of a breeze. Felt a little fall-like for sure compared to this time.
Again got very heated between the defense attorneys, Scott Croswell, and the victim during cross-examination. Now, once that victim finished up, it was the baker's turn. She testified that Mixon came in to buy bundt cakes before the incident took place. Now, although I'm not sure if she was beneficial to the prosecution, because when the defense cross-examined her, she said that Mixon was very friendly and even gave a person a $100 bill after hearing that he was down on his luck. Now, next up was the victim's boss. He said that the victim came into the business and looked upset and was trembling. Now, today wrapped up a little earlier than expected, but it will resume tomorrow afternoon at 1:30. Now, the prosecution has one more witness it plans to call, and then we expect it to rest. It's at that point that the defense has said Joe Mixon will testify in his own defense. And after challenging Mixon trying to opt out of having his testimony recorded, the judge ruled that he is not protected under Marcy's law, which is what all these other witnesses are using to opt out of being recorded. And the judge said that the media can record him tomorrow. Now, I'll be in the courtroom and we'll have updates for you. For now, at the Hamilton County Courthouse, I'm Christian Hauser. Back to you all in the studio.
The Huber Heights City Planning Commission reviewing plans for a new Buc-ee's store. Now, Lydia Bice following that. Before we talk about what was discussed at the meeting, can you explain why this chain is just so popular?
So Buc-ee's is a convenience store chain that began in Texas and has spread across the South while continuing to grow in popularity. The chain is known for its large size of locations, plus its huge variety of snacks and souvenirs. Now tonight, the Huber Heights City Planning Commission held an informal submission, which means the city planner came to the meeting and heard concerns from commission members such as traffic and roadway concerns. Then the city planner takes these concerns to representatives from Buc-ee's, and they take all of that feedback into consideration before making their formal submission. They expect to receive the formal submission from Buc-ee's by the end of the month, and the commission would then vote on that during their meeting on September 12th.
So why Huber Heights? Why did they choose that location then?
Well, Huber Heights Mayor Jeff Gore says that a lot of companies have recently decided to head to Huber Heights, and he believes part of Buc-ee's decision to head to the area is because of how close I-70 and I-75 are to the community.
So 70 and 75 is the biggest intersection of interstate in the country. And the location they've selected is just 3 exits east of that intersection. So when you look at travelers all up and down I-75, travelers east and west on 70, it just makes sense where that amount of travelers all over the country would be able to come.
Now, if you want to read more about the new Buc-ee's and what all the convenience store offers, head to this story on our website, Dayton247now.com. Back to you.
Lydia, thank you. A cold case out of Cincinnati has police still searching for answers. The latest on that murder case tonight.
And a former Columbus police officer facing murder charges ahead when he's due back in court.
And it's feeling like fall for now, but I'll let you know when summer returns. That's coming up. You're watching Dayton 24/7 Now.
Well, Dayton Public School officials voting on a tentative agreement between the district and the RTA. Within that agreement, Dayton Public Schools could provide school resource officers to be placed at the downtown RTA hub and on buses used by DPS students. Now, that agreement can only take place if signed off on by the RTA. Monday was the first day for Dayton Public Schools, and in March, district officials expressed some concern that the RTA was looking into creating policies that would make it difficult for students to take the bus to school.
Several schools in the Miami Valley are going to be starting school later this week. For Centerville kids, that day is tomorrow. Kettering students in 1st grade through 10th start on Thursday. The same goes for Fairborn students in 1st grade through 12th. Huber Heights students and Bellbrook students will also start on Thursday. And of course, we had some kids here at the station. Well, we don't employ kids at the station.
Yeah, where are you going with that?
I don't know, actually. Right. Your kids.
My kids do not work here. I just want to make that known. Neither does Natalie.
No, they don't. But they did go to school today. This is my oldest. So she started middle school today. And this is a big year.
Aww.
Big difference. Lockers, moving from classroom to classroom.
And she got her hair cut for the occasion, didn't she?
She did.
She got so cute.
Some layers. Yeah, believe it or not, that's a haircut.
And she looks beautiful. She looks beautiful.
And this is Leo. So he is.
Love his shirt.
Yeah, his Minecraft shirt. He started 1st grade today. So back to full day of school.
That's a big deal.
He was excited about the cafeteria. That was his, eating lunch at school was his biggest excitement of the day.
That is always very exciting. That's my oldest daughter, Sylvie. She started 7th grade today. Oh man, where's the time going? And there's Violet and Josie. Josie's the younger one in 2nd grade, Violet in 4th. They all had great days at school. It's weird to think when I moved here, Sylvia was 4.5.
Well, I remember Josie being like, I think she was 1. Well, I remember seeing her for the first time, and she stuck her tongue out at me. I remember, and you used to call her Boss Baby.
Yeah.
Like she was ornery, but she was cute.
She turned out to be a pretty sweet kid, though.
Yeah,
that's what I've heard so far. So I have hopes for my
for your youngest Lola.
I've lost all hope for my 3-year-old.
I believe in her, Natalie. I do. I believe in Lola.
Right.
Well, we'd love to see your pictures and videos. You can send them in to us very easily. You can scan that QR code on your screen. Or you just go to the Dayton 24/7 Now app, you open it up, you look for Chime In, and you can submit a couple photos or videos of your kids going back to school as well.
And great weather for back to school tomorrow. Today was very fall-like. Tomorrow it starts to warm up. We got some sunshine. It's really going to be beautiful. So right now, got some clouds around, still a spot shower, an area of drizzle or two through the rest of this evening. But this is heading off to the east, and we'll continue to see clearing skies overnight, which means temperatures will be falling into the upper 50s. Some fog possible in the morning, especially our eastern counties. This is indicating where we could see potentially some fog development by sunrise tomorrow. So keep that in mind for that morning commute. 80s tomorrow, upper 70s, right around 80 degrees for tomorrow afternoon. By Thursday, we start out cool again, lower 80s by Thursday afternoon. But notice we also have some showers that will be making their way in. Another cold front will arrive, bringing a few showers by Thursday afternoon and into the evening. I'll have a look at when summer returns coming up here in just a bit.
An Ohio family still searching for answers after their loved one was found dead after a shooting. A month later, no arrests have been made. Luke Jones spoke with the family and has their plea to the public.
Last month, Alan Holcomb was gunned down here off Kingsway Court in the Williamsburg apartment complex, the complex where he'd lived with his mother for 23 years.
Alan was 39 years young. He was just excited about starting his life. He wanted to get married. He wanted to have kids.
He was last seen around 11:30 the night of July 4th. He and his mom had just returned from a fireworks show.
She dropped him off to go get food. So when she came back, she just assumed that he was in the basement asleep.
The next morning around 8 o'clock, Holcomb's body was found outside this building just yards from his home. At least one bullet struck this parked car.
I talked to Alan the day before for hours, and there was just no indication that the next day this is the call that I was going to receive.
His family says he had no known enemies, was loved by his neighbors, and now sorely missed by all. They're pleading for leads in a case they're worried could go cold. In Cincinnati, I'm Luke Jones.
Two Americans killed in a drone strike in Ukraine on July 29th, and tonight we're now learning one man was from the Miami Valley, the city of Vandalia, taking to Facebook to post this here behind me, sharing its condolences for the loss of Lance Lawrence. Lawrence graduated from Vandalia Butler High School back in 2013 and was serving Ukrainian armed forces as a member of the 59th Motor Brigade. Lawrence was a Marine Corps veteran. An ex-Columbus police officer, Ricky Anderson, is set to make another court appearance in the fall. Anderson is charged with murder and reckless homicide in the case of the shooting death of 20-year-old Donovan Lewis in 2022 while serving a felony warrant. Now, he pleaded not guilty to both charges and posted bond after his initial appearance. Anderson retired from the Columbus Division of Police in bad standing. His next court date is set for October 3rd. The Warren County Sheriff's Office now asking for the community's help in locating this man. He's right there on your screen. 48-year-old Jason Kosher is wanted by the Warren County Sheriff's Office and Ohio Department of Rehabilitation and Corrections for violating terms of his supervised release. Kosher is approximately 6'2", weighs around 260 pounds. Anyone with information about him is asked to contact the Warren County Sheriff's Office immediately. And the Vandalia City Council approving an agreement to allow the Super 8 motel on National Road to reopen. The motel was forced to close last August due to structural issues and fire code violations. The two motel operators had criminal charges filed against them. As part of the agreement, the motel must meet several obligations to remain open, including maintaining operational phones in every guest room and removing guests who tamper with smoke detectors. A reopening date has not yet been determined.
Well, what a beautiful night tonight to look at the Troy traffic camera, downtown Troy there. Beautiful evening there. It is very nice out on the Watson's Weather patio. Not a lot of bugs. You can hear them. You don't see them flying around, though. It's cool.
It's really nice. Very fall-like today with the clouds, the cooler weather. Tomorrow is going to be nice, but still cooler than normal for this time of the year.
And eventually we'll get back to reality.
Yeah, and then eventually it turns to summer again. So enjoy this while it's here because it's not going to hang around for too long. We got 80 back in the forecast tomorrow, but that's a nice day. We have lower humidity, sunshine, still below normal for this time of the year. Normal high is still 85 degrees, so that's pretty nice. 83 by our Thursday, 80 again on Friday, but then notice by Sunday, getting close to 90 degrees. And our overall temperature trend set up heading into next week is looking pretty hot. Looks like we're going to see one of those domes of hot air start to build in, which will bring above normal temperatures through much of the central U.S., including right here in the Miami Valley by later into the month of August. So the heat will return, so enjoy some of this fall-like weather. Have a look at our 7-day coming up in a bit.
The mother of the child who shot his teacher pleading guilty in court today ahead how much time she could spend behind bars. And we're now 2 years removed from the U.S. withdrawal from Afghanistan. Coming up, how U.S. leaders are defending the decision to pull troops. You're watching Dayton 24/7 now.
The mother of the 6-year-old boy who shot his teacher in Virginia has pled guilty to felony child neglect. Now, this 7 months after her son wounded his teacher in a classroom full of students in Newport News. Prosecutors struck a plea agreement with the mom, Deja Taylor. It drops the misdemeanor charge of reckless storage of a firearm and calls for 6 months behind bars. Taylor is going to be sentenced in October. The teacher thankfully survived, but spent nearly 2 weeks in the hospital and had to have multiple surgeries.
Well, today marks 2 years since the Taliban seized control of Kabul amid the chaotic U.S. withdrawal from Afghanistan. The Taliban has declared today a national holiday. Since returning to power, the group has cracked down on rights for women and girls, including restricting their access to education, most jobs, and public spaces. The U.S. Secretary of State says withdrawing was the right decision.
We've been very clear with the Taliban, and dozens of countries around the world have been very clear that the path to any more normal relationship between the Taliban and other countries will be blocked unless and until the rights of women and girls, among other things, are actually supported.
Now, Blinken says leaving Afghanistan allowed the U.S. to pivot to challenges in Europe and China. Preparations now underway for next month's Air Force Marathon. Coming up, we explain everything you need to know about the annual race.
And making a big impact in the classroom, how you helped make a big difference in a local child's school year.
You're watching Dayton 24/7 now.
The Dayton 24/7 Now News app, brought to you by the Jeff Schmidt Auto Group.
Well, believe it or not, we're officially a month away from the 27th annual Air Force Marathon. And today, volunteers are out at the Hope Hotel setting up medals and hydration stations. The race brings more than 9,000 athletes from all 50 states and 18 countries here to the Miami Valley.
It was started with the 50th anniversary of the Air Force itself. So to commemorate that, a small race was started on base, and now it has grown. It is the marathon for the United States Air Force. So we bring people from all over the country in. We have groups coming from every different service, and they all run. It is just a lot of fun.
Well, there are only about 30 spots open for the full marathon left, so if you want to run it, you got to sign up pretty quick. The 5K and 1K Kids Run are set for Friday, September 15th. 10K, half marathon, and marathon scheduled for the next day. And if you like to volunteer, they're always looking for volunteers, especially on race day. You can go to usafmarathon.com. There you can also sign up for a race. or donate the purchase of a race registration to an airman who can't afford to take part.
Well, remember the school supply drive we hosted a couple weeks back with McDonald's? Well, your donations were brought to